It's the morning show with Kathryn Thomas on Dublin's Q102. Now, the Paddy Power Comedy Festival is returning to the beautiful Ivy Gardens from July 24th to 27th with a whole host of the best comedians from here and afar. One of them has joined me in studio this morning. Shane Daniel Byrne, great to see you.
Good morning. Thank you very much for having me.
How are you? Well, I should say comedian and now actor.
A little bit. I mean, people are saying podcaster, writer.
Yes. Oh my God, we have a lot.
Superstar has been thrown around.
All of the above. And we're going to talk about the acting and the podcast, which, by the way, is brilliant. But first to the Ivy Gardens, which is always great crack. So let's give a few names out there. Daniel Sloss is there. Fern Brady is there. And then from the Irish contingent, yourself, obviously, Tommy Tiernan, Neil Delamere. Do you enjoy it? Is it something you look forward to every year?
It is. It's like one of my favourite weekends of the year, and loads of comedians will say that because it's like there's so many shows on in the beautiful setting of Ivy Gardens.
It is pretty stunning.
And it's nice to be, you're in town, but you're not like, do you know what I mean? You're not like in the thick of it in town. So when you're finished, you have your choice of what you can do. You're on Harcourt Street, it's gorgeous. But yeah, it's kind of our Christmas do. So it's kind of like you get to mix together and hang around together and pal around together, and then you get to cozy up to all those famous Americans who might come over and visit it and all that kind of thing. But it's just a very fun atmosphere. It's just a very fun atmosphere in the park. And even you buy a ticket to one show, you can then hang around. You just be in the park then.
Well, speaking of the show, like, who is your dream set? Because, you know, we all wait to see who's making the set. Who would be your dream set in the lineup?
Somebody comes over every year. There's always someone who comes over, some American, and everyone talks about them, or someone from the UK, and they go, she smashed it, absolutely smashed it. Do you know what I did once? I hosted the big tent in there. So I was the MC, and I only got the call just an hour before because somebody was sick. And I was like, yeah, I'll do it. I shouldn't have done it, but I did it anyway. And there's 900 people in the tent, but Tommy Tiernan was the headliner of it. And he watches. There's 900 people are sitting there.
Jesus.
I know. There's 900 people, and you don't care about them because I can see Dada Tommy Tiernan watching you, and it's like so stressful because he's perfectly lit in it because it's a tent and he's in the wall of the tent, and I'm like, he's just watching you with his arms folded, observing you do your comedy.
Oh God!
Extremely stressful. He's worse than the real audience. But he's very nice and everything.
That's some call up though. Actually, when you were saying that, it reminded me the first time I was ever on the Late Late Show. I was down in the Leeson Lounge having one or two fizzy waters.
Which you're entitled to do.
Which you're entitled to do. And somebody from RTE, the Late Late Show, rang and said, was it Sergio Ballesteros? Is that the golfer? What was his name?
You're asking the wrong man.
You're asking the wrong woman as well. He's cancelled, and will you come in? And so I literally had to go in the jeans that I stood up on and went on the Late Late. Sometimes when you have to put yourself in
it does. You're like, well, I've no choice now. I've better do it.
Now.
Yeah. Go and do it. And then there was also a bit where the stage manager was like, "Will your next bit just go very quickly and just tell Tommy that you're going to go on very quickly?" And I'm like, "Why?" I have to go over to him and go, "Hiya, Tommy. I'll be very quick." I'm like, he doesn't care. He's done a million of these. He doesn't care from some chap is going to tell him. I'm like, okay, but I did what I was told. You know what I mean? But anyway, he doesn't care.
But as you said, when you think about it, because you guys work in kind of silos while you're doing your individual shows, so to actually have an event where you can all hang out together and
it is nice.
Enjoy it and kind of celebrate each other as well.
Yeah, because sometimes people think comedy is very macho and very competitive, and some of that's true, but actually very supportive of each other as well. And you know, there's kind of no real. It's kind of a democracy to it. Everyone's sitting in the same little dirty back green room somewhere. Yeah. We're all sitting there, whether you're Deirdre O'Kane or whether you're me. Everyone's still sitting in the same place. Well, Deirdre O'Kane probably wouldn't sit anywhere dirty. You know, she's a very classy woman. She'd have somewhere gorgeous to go. But like, there is that, and then there's stuff like where you'd be nervous together and you'd be pacing. Somebody be nervous and, you know, worried about their show or their set, whatever, and nobody minds. No one goes chill out or whatever. They're just let. And I think that there is something kind of sweet about comedians as well, even though they're obviously gross. Yeah. For the most part, gross. Yeah.
Listen, we mentioned the podcast and you got to tell us about it. Ireland said yes. I have listened to it. It is so good. Last episode coming out.
The last episode is out. So all four of the main series are out. There'll be extended conversations and stuff after. But yeah, it's looking back at the 10 years since the marriage equality referendum, and rather than just do the bit of like, wasn't it great? I wanted to do that, but also kind of go, how did we do that? And how did that happen? And how was Ireland so conservative just a few years before? And suddenly it was illegal to be gay in 93, and then 22 years later the gays can get married. So I wanted to kind of look at that, and I interviewed loads of people. So Mary McAleese is on there. Yes. She's my top billing. Mary McAleese, who's fantastic on it.
She's so good.
She's such a good speaker.
So
passionate and so eloquent. And she kind of very subtle shade that she does against the people who campaigned against the the marriage equality, and she just does it like with such grace and elegance and class. But actually, it's like searing hot. It's so good.
Yeah.
She's so good at it, and she's like an expert. And then like Panty Bliss is on there as well, who was big around, very big at the time, and in all the papers at the time. And then just people who were head of the campaign or people who were canvassers. So kind of looking at kind of a little oral history of looking at all that happened.
And what I loved about it as well is what I learnt. I mean, you kind of, it's all of a sudden you're kind of going very Catholic country to, yes, marriage equality. But actually there was a lot going on in Ireland to kind of get us to that point, which I didn't know about in the 70s and in the 80s. There was people campaigning and voices that we've kind of, I had to be reminded of it.
Yeah, there was a time not so long ago, the most courageous and useful thing you could do to progress gay rights or civil rights for LGBT people was just to be gay or be bisexual, whatever it is, and be public about it. That was there was campaigns back in the 70s, like, and Harvey Milk did it over in America. It was like, just come out, everyone just come out, leave the closet, let's do it. And I think that visibility is when we talk about that, like, oh, visibility is important. What we mean is, like, people understand then, they go, eventually everyone gets a gay cousin. Sooner or later, there's a gay cousin or a lesbian auntie, someone arrives, and that just makes it more normal. And I think people were kind of like scared and are told by whoever not to like this, and then actually they realise it's just, we're all people like anybody else. So those things are also important. But people were doing things so courageous, like in the 60s, 70s, having pride parades, having secret nightclubs, having all that stuff. I mean, those are real heroes as well, who maybe are not, across the papers when we celebrate the 10 years of the campaign.
And
but they're big.
How did you find that experience going back in time and kind of reading about it and researching it? How did you?
I think it's good. I think there's this thing of people forget their history.
Totally.
And I think it's good to kind of just check in with it every now and then.
Yeah.
And just kind of go, okay, well, there's there's a past here. There's a set of the things that happened that are useful towards the goals we have now. And you just have to check in with them a little bit. But I think that's true of anything, I suppose. Even as a comedian, that's true as well. You got to know there's a past and there's a culture of comedy and who's doing what and what the styles were at different times. It's kind of across all areas, I think. Yeah.
And there's a big culture shift in the podcasting world from Young Hot Guys, which of course is flying, still doing its thing.
Yeah.
And tell us more then about your foray into acting, this new RTE drama that you're a part of.
Well, I can't say that much, Kathryn.
Really?
Yeah, this is cool. It's the first time ever I've done something.
Because I can't say.
Yeah, I know, because you can't. But I'm nearly finished filming, so I'll go next week and just do the last bit. I've been filming. It's terrible. I had to go to Tenerife for 2 months.
God love you.
I know, it's been really tough year for me. It really has been. Beautiful Tenerife, and it's a comedy drama. It'll be on RTE early next year, and it's called These Sacred Vows, and it's starring Tom Vaughan Lawler, who we all know as Nidge. But you won't recognise him in this, because in this he's a priest and it's totally different. He's such a good actor. It's frightening.
That's what I love about him. I mean, in fairness,
he's so good.
He's so good. And like, we know him as Nidge, but when you see him in he just embodies the role.
And he's so funny.
Yeah.
Like, he can do all of it. He's so funny, he's so smart, and he's a really lovely man. I was so relieved. I was kind of like, okay, here we go. Tom Vaughan Lawler's here, Nidge is here. And actually he's just absolutely lovely and hangs around with everybody else and does all the normal things.
So the main premise is that it's an Irish wedding abroad in Tenerife, and then
somebody dies. And we have to find out how that happened.
Very good.
Yeah.
Okay, so when is that out?
I think January, and I'm very excited to watch it myself. I kind of can't wait. I've had such a good time on it.
And you were saying, so who's directing it?
John Butler.
Butler.
Yeah.
And it's very funny.
It's very funny. Like, there's lovely, beautiful things as well, and scary things, and, death and everything, but very, very funny. And I kind of can't wait for that to be. I'm excited to be both funny. I get to be serious and be a serious actor as well, so I'm excited for that. I'm like, oh yeah, check me out.
And is it something like when you dipped your toes in there? Is that something that you kind of went,
God,
I could do a bit more of that?
I'm like, I could have this live.
Yeah.
Like, the actors,
Tenerife, 2 months of the year.
I know the actors, like, they work hard, but also they have a lovely lifestyle. You're picked up in the morning. You're given the breakfast. You're brought a coffee. They put the makeup on, they put your moisturiser on with a little bit of massage in the face in the morning. Every morning. I'm like,
does that not happen at the backstage at the Ivy Gardens?
No, it does not happen in the Ivy Gardens.
Okay.
In the Ivy Gardens, you might get a bottle of beer. They'll do that. That's fine. Or a glass of water. That'll be lovely. But actually, it is lovely to go and do the TV show and have all that glamorous stuff. But I am most looking forward now to the Ivy Gardens. That is just such a lovely weekend in the year, and it's so much fun.
All right. Well, tickets for the Paddy Power Comedy Festival, which is strictly an over 18s only event. They're on sale now, and tickets are sold on a show by show basis. Shane, Daniel Byrne, a pleasure.
Thank you so much.